run out of Vancouver by a friend of mine, Sean Farquhar, and a real cool, kind of like a speakeasy kind of idea, where he's created this small, intimate theater that looks like a high-end clothing store. So it's kind of cool how he designed that. He actually put it together during COVID, and I think, wow, you know, when the rest of the world is shutting down, he actually put it together before COVID, but man, the man survived, and now he is thriving. He's thriving in New Westminster, got a beautiful little theater there, and he's doing well. Hidden Wonders, if you're in the Vancouver area, make sure you check that out. Anyways, today I thought I would talk about the importance of visualization and being on top of where you want to be. Big goals, macro goals versus micro goals. A lot of people, when I talk to a lot of people about life, they are talking about day-to-day goals and what they're going to do today, their schedules, and making sure they get the rent paid, and the kids get to, you know, their gymnastics class, and you know, they get to the parent-teacher interviews. A lot of people I know are talking about what they're doing in the moment, in the micro, and the day-to-day, the month-to-month sort of picture in their minds. And I want to talk about that because I think that's important. But what I think is even equally important, equally important, absolutely equally important, is your macro view of your life. Like, where are you heading? So many people are so focused on surviving that they forget to take a moment and think about what they want their life to look like at the end of the day. Like where they want to be in 5 years. So let's just use the 5-year mark as your basic starting point. I personally think a really great exercise I did years ago was write a quick little essay, a couple of paragraphs of what you want your 100th birthday celebration to look like. And I thought that was a really neat exercise. You know, where you want to be, who you want around you at that time. And I thought, you know, that's a really cool exercise. I really enjoyed that. In the movie Cocktail, the character played by Tom Cruise is taking a business course, and one of his teachers tells him that his assignment is to write his own obituary. And I thought, well, that's interesting, but it's kind of depressing talking about death in that sense. So I thought, let's make it a little more a little more happier thought is to talk about your 100th birthday and what that looks like. You know, having the call from the Prime Minister, or you know, the great-grandchildren all around you, you know, that kind of thing seems a little more positive. So I like that version. But that's a little much for a lot of people to think about. And when people start thinking about 100 years, that to them is not a realistic number. Most people can't see, you know, that far into the future. So what I say is, let's visualize a 5-year plan. Visualize what you want your life to look like in 5 years. And I think that's more palatable. It's more reasonable thing for people to do, is to consider what the 5-year mark looks like versus the 100-year mark. So wherever you're at right now, sit down. And this is so important, and yet so few people do it. Sit down and write a little letter of yourself to yourself of what you want yourself to look like in 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What job do you want to have? What car do you want to drive? What house do you want to live in? What partner do you want to have? These things are really important, because if you just sit there in quiet desperation, living out your days, plugging away at the salt mine every day just so you can make sure that the bills are paid, what happens is you start to lose focus on that on those long-term goals. And the worst part, and this is the absolute worst part, is you end up 5 years goes away and you realize you're in the same spot. So what I am inviting all of my subscriber to do is to take a moment, take a couple of hours on a weekend or a day off you have, grab a piece of paper and a pen and your earbuds, and there's a reason I say this, get some sound canceling headphones or earbuds, anything you can do to help eliminate some of the external stimulus that you might get. So what I like to do is listen to music, because that helps me block out the world, and it helps me get more into my mind. So think about getting scheduling yourself. We're talking like 2 hours, maybe an hour of sitting down, blocking out all distractions, as many distractions as you can, getting into a room without windows if possible. If there's a den or a bedroom or something where you can get where there's no distractions from the external world, the fewer the better. And sit down and start to really think about what you want your life to look like. Where do you want to be? And let's start with the 5 years. 5 years is palatable. It's a tiny little chunk you can take off and think about, and you can start building on that. So sit down, and a little trick. This is a little trick, and I talk about this in my book, My Conversations with Keegan. Use a yellow legal pad and a red pen. Now, psychologically, the red on the yellow seems to kind of impact the subconscious mind a little harder. It's more indelible with the thoughts. So when you're thinking about it, you can remember it a little clearer. So I always say that. Don't let that be what stops you. If you can't get your hands on a yellow piece of paper, any piece of paper is going to work. I have pieces of paper I have around my house that are folded up, crumpled up, lines drawn through them all over the place. But start to put down some ideas of what you want out of your life. And one of them would be, let's start something pretty straightforward. What kind of partner you want? Now, if you have a partner, well, we'll skip to the next part of this lesson. But consider what kind of partner you want, who you want that person to be, and what you want them to look like. And maybe put down some characteristics you might think would benefit you the most, and what you find the most appealing and attractive to something to bring into your life. It's an easy place to start. Start with a partner. Second thing would be, and this one again fairly straightforward and easy to do, think about the car you want to drive. Now, when you start thinking about the car you want to drive, don't think about what's practical and what's realistic. I want to stay within the realm of possible, but try to avoid a practical car. Try to avoid saying, well, because I did this myself. Let's see, I want a Porsche 911, but a used Toyota Camry with a cloth interior and a CD player, that's all I really need. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Start to think about something that's possible but not practical. So, if you want a nice new big truck, think about a nice big new truck. If you want a sports car, think about a sports car. Think about where you want to be in your career. Now, this one's a really easy one. So if you are at an entry-level position right now, why don't you think 3 levels up? That's about right. So your entry level, in about a year, you probably get up to, more of a supervisory role. And it would be unreasonable to think 3-4 years, you're up to a managerial role, taking on some real responsibilities and leadership roles. So start putting that into place. What kind of home do you want to live in 5 years? And again, I'd like to stay with this exercise. I would say let's stay within the realm of possibility. So think about the home. So if you're renting a basement suite right now, or you got roommates, why don't you think about a home that you have for yourself that has a garage, and you got your own place, a nice kitchen to cook in, maybe a nice little backyard for barbecues and stuff like that. Put something in your mind. Now, an important thing about this is don't let me start to kind of guide your thought process. Think about it yourself. Think about what would really bring you joy and happiness, and start putting that onto this 5-year plan. The important thing to think about when you're thinking about this 5-year plan is not is keeping the goals on a larger level than just simply surviving. Now, at this point right now, we are not talking about breaking down a plan to get there yet, but we're just kind of setting up goals right now. Right now, we're just kind of setting up a direction on which to point the bow of the ship. We don't want to start putting too much pressure on ourselves to start mapping that out quite yet. But the important thing, and this is crucial, is that the goals need to be bigger than your day-to-day. Because the day-to-day is great. We all need to survive. We need to get the bills paid. But we need to get to a point where we're thinking bigger than that and beyond that. So no matter where you are, and I mean, it doesn't cost any money to do this. So no matter where you are financially or relationship-wise or career-wise, you can start to sit down and start thinking about what you want your 5 years to look like. Now, maybe you've made some mistakes. Maybe you're in a bit of a financial dip right now. You've got some credit card debt you got to deal with, or maybe you've made some mistakes at work, or maybe even, hey, maybe you don't even have a job. Maybe you're out of work right now. That doesn't matter. What matters right now is creating that image in your mind of what you want the 5 years to look like. So it again, like, if we get stuck down thinking about the day-to-day, what is tomorrow going to look like? What is the weekend going to look like? The years will evaporate and melt away, and you will be stuck wondering what happened to that time. So starting to kind of create this goal setting exercise in your mind, this idea of you got to have something bigger to shoot for, will start get you in the right path. So so sit down with a pen and paper, and do it sooner than later. Do it this weekend. Take a couple hours. Tell everyone in your life, hey, listen, for a couple hours, my phone's turned off. I'm unavailable from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. I'm just need some time alone for a bit. Grab a pen and paper. Walk into a quiet room. Put on those sound canceling headphones and listen to some music. Oh, another important thing about the music. If you are going to be listening to music, I strongly suggest that you listen to music that is wordless, like classical music. Personally, I really enjoy soundtracks, and I really, really enjoy Thomas Newman as a composer, so I like to listen to his stuff. Right now, I'm just listening to the soundtrack for the latest Pixar movie, Elemental, I think it's called. And I'm really enjoying that. It helps me clear my mind, helps me get to a kind of a Zen state almost, where I can kind of focus on my thoughts versus on the words. So that's really important too. Grab a glass of water or a cup of tea, something non-caffeinated, and get in there and start producing your goals. So that's it, folks. Today I'm saying I'm going to sign off now. And I wish everyone the best, and remember that success it's not an accident. You don't get there by going to the same job every day, half-assing it at work, putting in half the amount of effort you need to, just doing enough work not to get fired. And you don't slip on a banana peel and suddenly become financially successful. So what you need to do is get some goals, get them written down, do your stuff. That's the work. That's the work. It really is the work. Get into that room, write down a couple of goals for yourself, some 5-year goals. See what you want your life to look like in 5 years. Thanks so much for listening. Subscribe if you haven't yet. If you have, and this is on episode 4, and you're a subscriber, God bless you. You're doing the God's work. Also, subscribe, hit the like button, share it. you know, if you know someone who needs a little bit of advice, share it with your friends. Pass the word around. It doesn't hurt. It only helps. Click the notification. I'm going to try and put these up every day, but if you have the notification up, you'll know when they happen. So anyways, folks, thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching. And remember, think big. 5-year plan.